sometimes the best of intentions just don't work out, and we end up losing or wasting money. I know it's definitely happened to me. So when I came across this article, I knew we had to talk about it because, as frugal people, we try to do our best, but sometimes we do fail. And this one points out the top 10 times it's possible that being frugal could actually cost you more money. In today's Money Article Monday, we are going to talk about 10 attempts at frugality that could end up costing you money. So let's see what this article has to say. Before we get started, if you are new here, my name is Jennifer, and I talk about saving money and being financially independent, living a simple life, and paying off our mortgage by the year 2024. And on Money Article Mondays, we discuss a blog or an article related to money because it helps open up our perspective to what other people might think. And sometimes we agree, sometimes we don't. Let's see if we agree with this one. As always, I will have the article linked down below so you can read it in its entirety. This one I found on msn.com/money. It is called 10 Attempts at Frugality That Could End Up Costing You Money. It was written by Nicole Dowell, and apparently this story originally appeared on The Penny Hoarder, which is a blog. So she says, every now and then, well-intentioned plans to save money simply fail. Every now and then, all, or at least some, intentional plans fail. That's just part of life, right? The following are 10 situations where trying to pinch pennies has the potential to end up costing you money. Number 1, letting meal prep go to waste. Yes, when you've meal prepped and you try to prep the exact same thing, and by Thursday you're really tired of eating those vegetables and rice again. I just can't stomach it. I can't eat the vegetables and rice again. I have done that. I mean, you see these meal prepper people and they prep the exact same meals, and some people can eat the same exact same thing every single day, but some people just can't stomach eating the exact same thing every single day. So let's see what she says. She says, preparing meals in advance means you won't be tempted to grab fast food or order takeout whenever you don't feel like cooking. Yeah. But there's always the potential of wasting a week's worth of chopped veggies or a Tupperware full of chicken breast if they've gone bad, or just you can't stomach eating the same meal several days in a row. So you're just tossing money down the garbage disposal. The same thing can happen even you're trying to be thrifty but buying in bulk, but end up throwing out half of what you bought because it's just too much. So obviously, always when you're buying in bulk, I try to make sure it's not something that's, obviously it's a consumable, but not something that's perishable, I guess. So like, toilet paper, that kind of thing, or nuts or chips or salsa, something that, lasts longer. But buying vegetables in bulk, going and buying a huge bag of pears or apples when you know that you can't go through them, you definitely, waste money there. Or just not being prepared when you go to the grocery store, you're going to waste money. But I think the meal prep thing is something that kind of, I don't know how many years ago it took off, especially on YouTube, showing all the meal prep, Tupperware, etc. Instead, what we do is something that allows us to have more diversity in our meals is we cook when we are all three together. So if you don't know our story, we are not always, because of our jobs, we are not always together at night. We're together at night. I think it's 4 nights a week at most, 4 nights a week. So on those nights, we make sure we cook. And when we cook, whether it's something quick or something that's takes more time, we make more of it so that we have leftovers, so that we're not meal prepping the exact same meal, 5, chicken breast and vegetables and rice to eat Monday through Friday for lunch. Instead, if we make spaghetti and salad on Monday, we'll have spaghetti and salad for lunch on Wednesday. And on Tuesday night, we had tacos. So on Thursday for lunch, we'll have leftover tacos. So that's how we do it and stagger it so that we don't meal prep and just get ourselves burnt out on eating the same thing every single day. Number 2 in this article is spending a fortune on dinner ingredients. Cooking at home is usually a much cheaper option than eating out at restaurants. Yeah, I think restaurants is 3 to 5 times more expensive than cooking at home. Except, of course, the article says when you go overboard, could be overboard with buying gourmet groceries and getting 10 unique ingredients for each recipe. When you total everything up, you realize you could have afforded to dine out after all, probably somewhere really nice. She says in here, the remedy is to choose recipes that include ingredients you already have at home or that are inexpensive. If you need to buy new ingredients, make sure you can use them multiple times. This is like a big frugal thing where, you know, we choose to make simple meals and we don't Pinterest every single meal of that week. I recommend meaning grabbing a new meal to add to your meal plan, probably maybe once a week, if that, maybe a couple times a month. So if you don't know, I have a great video on 2-step ways to save a lot of money on groceries, especially right now with the cost of groceries rising so much. I'll link that down below, but basically it talks about meal planning monthly, which is a smart idea. And everybody says, well, I don't want to be required to eat that thing on that day. What if I don't have it? I'm not in the mood for tacos on that day. Well, the cool thing about meal planning for a week is if you go, or for a month, you go shopping every week and you get the stuff you need for those meals each week. So if you have 5 different meals listed for that week, you don't have to cook what's on Monday. You can cook what's on Friday and switch it. So you could cater it however you want. We do that all the time. If we're just kind of not feeling what we had planned for that day, we'll just pick what we had planned for another day because we know we have the ingredients. But a lot of people, you know, have the best of intentions when they're cooking at home and they want to, you know, make all this good stuff, make it taste as great. But oftentimes what I experienced, I don't know about you, but some of these recipes, you'll try them and it's just gross. It's just not good. Or the ingredients that you need with them just cost so much, and you're never going to use the cream of tartar ever again, right? So I have cream of tartar. When do you use cream of tartar? The powder stuff, you know, the spice, the cream of tartar. I think I used it in one recipe and it's just been sitting in there ever since. But not that it was expensive or anything, but kind of things like that when it has this weird ingredient that you're just never going to use again. So yeah, it may be interesting, but what I found with Pinterest recipes is that they also this don't turn out the same and don't look the same and aren't necessarily always that good. For me in cooking, I will often improvise. If there's an ingredient that I don't have or that I know I won't use, but I still want to try that recipe, I will just substitute it for something and hope for the best. Now, when baking, that's different because baking's more of a chemistry science kind of a thing, but just, you know, cooking something, I'll usually just try to substitute it. But I agree, that is one area that people do waste a lot of money. The third attempt at when frugality can actually cause you to spend more money is buying stuff just because it's on sale. How many of you do this? I know I used to do this. It still kind of creeps in sometimes. It's on sale, I have to have it. That's how they get you, because yeah. Anyway, sometimes the thrill of saving money can cloud your judgment. There you go. That's the reason. You load up your grocery cart with BOGO items, grab clothes off the clearance rack, and buy Groupon deals. I do not buy Groupon deals. I've never gotten into that. I know somebody who does that all the time, and sometimes she just doesn't even end up using them. I mean, hey, if it works for you. She says you can end up easily blowing your budget chasing deals and discounts. Yeah, I mean, just because it's on sale doesn't mean you need it. I like this talking about, holiday sale when somebody says, oh my gosh, I got this TV and I saved $250. Well, you still spent $750. I'm just saying. Anyway, she says the remedy is before you buy something that's on sale, ask yourself first if it's something you really want or you really need. And you're not just buying it just because it's a good deal. I mean, if you see a t-shirt that's a really good deal, I mean, do you need it or do you love it? Just because it's $8-9 doesn't mean you have to have it. Number 4 is driving all around town to find the lowest price in gas. I don't do this. I never have done this. Do you know anybody who does this? But she says, sure, you can save 10 cents per gallon for filling up your tank, but if you drive to the other side of town, it kind of defeats the purpose. Absolutely. You know, oftentimes what I will make sure I do is I will put gas in my car, or I will know and understand where I'm going when I'm running certain errands and where the best price is. And I will couple that and group that together. So, and it's always best practice not to let your gas get below a quarter of a tank anyway. That's just what I've heard. I don't know where I heard that from, but that's what I heard. And so I don't worry about necessarily running out of gas. So I make sure that if I know I'm getting close, then I know, hey, there's a great gas station. It's always really inexpensive. It's near the grocery store. I'm going to the grocery store on Saturday. I'm going to get gas then. So it's just planning ahead for that one. I think is probably the best thing to do. Number 5 is going carless, only to spend more money getting around. Car payments, insurance, gas, maintenance, it all adds up. Ditching your vehicle seems like it could be, or could help you save. Well, however, if you're calling Uber every day or renting a car for the weekend, those costs might be more expensive. Before you go carless, make a plan on how you're going to get around and what the cost will be. Well, before you make any financial or any change like that, put together a plan, people. Like, just sell your car and then hope for the best is not probably the smartest thing to do. Research public transportation options in your area. Consider carpooling or biking to work. Now, we don't live anywhere near where we could bike to work or walk to work. We're kind of between the suburbs and the country. And our jobs, we both have to have cars. That's just where we are in life. It would not make any sense for us to have one car. Would that be great? If we could make it work, yeah, but it depends on your life, right? Everybody's different. Everybody's needs are different. So one person's financial dreams are different than the others. One person's financial needs are different from another's. Everybody's different. So I always say take the advice you want and leave the rest. Take the advice that works for you. And if I say something that doesn't work for you or that you maybe don't even agree with, that's okay too, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't work for somebody else. So, however, this doesn't work for me. Overall, the whole premise of it is correct. If you're making any sort of a big decision like that, make sure it's smart. One of the things I talk about is if you were ever to change jobs, the location of your job in conjunction with where you live is also something to consider. I mean, are you going to spend half of your day driving to and from because the job is an hour and a half away and you're going to sit in traffic just because it may pay $10,000 more a year? Is that a smart decision? So any kind of a change you're going to make like that, you need to kind of weigh those options. Number 6 is buying a used car without doing due diligence. Once again, do your research. Frugal people do research. That's one thing. But I guess we all have the best of intentions. Maybe if you're jumping right into it, you want to do it now and not do the research, you're an instant gratification person kind of a thing. You're making these changes aren't necessarily something that are overnight. They're just something you learn and through experience, and going through one of these things is going to teach you something too. But she says you'll lose money in depreciation just by driving a new car off the lot. That's what we're always told. Has anybody heard the news lately? I can't remember. It was on one of the big news channels. I don't watch news, but I was walking by and I heard it. It said something about used car prices are going through the roof. Is that a thing? Anyway, she says buying a used car isn't much better though. If you drive away only to have your check engine light come on, that's not good either. Buying used means your vehicle might not be in optimal condition. Buying used, you almost have to do more. You have to do more background check on the vehicle than if you were buying used now or buying new. So I paid cash for my last vehicle and I saved up for over 2 years for it. It was a sinking fund. I actually researched vehicles that entire 2 years. So I don't think purchasing a vehicle is something to do lightly, especially a used vehicle, not knowing its past or its history, what it came from. There are people out there who want to scam you every single day. She says the remedy is when you buy a used car, where you shop matters. You can find certified pre-owned vehicles at legit dealerships that have been thoroughly inspected and may come with some type of warranty coverage. And I also say, I hear a lot of people say that when they're buying used cars, they also take the vehicle to their trusted mechanic, if it's a family mechanic or their trusted mechanic, and have them check it out versus, always believing what the car salesman or the dealership says. Number 7 is something that, I've fallen trapped to. Signing up for free trials and forgetting to cancel. I talked about this a few videos ago where, like you watch the one season that they give you for free as a teaser, and then you gotta get the monthly subscription in order to buy the second season. And you really need to know what happened. So what you did is you went ahead and agreed to the $8 a month for Hulu. 6 months down the road, it's still coming out of your account and there's not a single thing on there that you're watching. So I audit my subscriptions often, and more recently audited and got rid of Hulu and got rid of, what was the other one? Audible. And then there was another one I got rid of. I can't remember what it was. Anyway. She says, it makes sense for a frugal person to take advantage of free trial offers, and for the first week or 30 days, everything is great. Now, I haven't read the rest of this, but I've said this before. What you should do is in your calendar that pops up like your phone, like your Google Calendar, put a reminder. So it'll typically say it's a 30-day trial or a 7-day trial, so that you can either cancel, or at that point when that reminder comes up, you know that you need to evaluate whether or not it is a good deal for you to keep it. She says, if you cancel a free trial immediately and still take advantage of the service until the prior trial ends, do that. If not, set calendar reminders and alerts. Number 8 is losing time and money on DIY projects. Yeah, I've done this. Let me tell you about this situation. So I think it was when my daughter was 2. Yes, she was 2. We dressed her up as Masha from Masha and the Bear, if you know what that cartoon is, or thing. I can't remember where we found it, but we dressed her up as Masha. It was the cutest little thing. You can't find a Masha costume, right? And I was like, I am not spending money on a costume, $30 for a costume. Well, I ended up spending more on the stuff to buy the costume and the time to make it, which in the end, my mom ended up finishing it because I just got frustrated with it. But it was really cute. But I ended up spending twice as much on it than I would have a regular costume. So that's where, DIYing or doing something yourself doesn't always pay off. She says you will say you drop $20 on equipment and supplies at the craft store to make some home decor piece. You could get at Home Goods for $30. There you go. She says, you think you're saving money, except your completed project turns out nothing like what you intended. It goes straight into the trash. I mean, us creative types, us DIY types have experienced this, right? Where we've done that, and it's just it's not turned out. Yeah, it's an experience, and yeah, it's fun doing it, but it makes you mad when it doesn't turn out. Let's say you're making a wood sign and you're staining it and it just doesn't turn out as pretty as the ones you see on Etsy, right? Number 9 is replacing TV services with a bunch of subscription services. Yep. So if you end up getting rid of satellite, but then you sign up for Netflix, Hulu, you got Amazon Prime, you end up doing a Stars, an HBO, I don't know there's others, I'm sure. You end up not saving money. And are you really going to all of those sites? If there's one show here, one show there, one show here, I promise you, if you don't watch 1 or 2 or 3 of these shows, your life will go on. You will be okay. The clouds in the sky will not fall in on you. So you've got to be careful when you're switching from one thing to another in anything. But yeah, this one definitely you can fall trap to actually spending more money versus keeping the one service. So we haven't had cable TV for 10 years, so I wouldn't know what even the cost was. She says you're sick of paying over $100 for cable, so you decided to finally cut the cord, but in place you sign up for Netflix, Hulu, Disney, HBO, Showtime, Sling TV, what is Sling TV, and more, until what you pay for television and movies exceeds your old cable bill. Ask yourself what content really matters to you and limit yourself to a couple of streaming services. That is great advice right there. Number 10 is getting rewards, credit cards, and going into debt. I cannot tell you how many people have commented when I've talked about credit cards and debt on my channel. Well, it's not a problem. I pay it off every single month. I went on a trip for free. I got all these airline miles. I get 2% cash back on everything I spend. Great, fine, perfect. here's my word of warning. What most people don't do is have the money already in their account. What most people do is pay for that, whatever charges are on their credit card, with the next paycheck or the next month's income. Maybe not you, and I'm not speaking to everybody, but you know, this is great, but what if 2020 happens again and you get laid off or you get injured and you no longer have that money coming in and you have all those charges, and now you've got that 22 to 30% interest that's going to start piling up, and now you've put yourself in a big old pickle. I'm just saying, if you're going to do it responsibly. Already have the money in your account and do it that way if you're going to take that risk. But it's too risky for me to care about the rewards. I mean, I'd rather not. They are counting on you screwing up or something in your life happening, that credit card company is, in order for them to get you, to get their money. I mean, that's what they're there for. But this says reward credit cards lure you in with perks like cashback or points to use for future purchases. Store cards hook you with the promise to save a percentage off each time. You know, I do not. The store credit cards, they got me in trouble at one point. I had one and it was just not good. But she says if you carry a balance on those cards, what you pay back in interest could easily negate the rewards and savings. So if you, and I always say this too with financing some stuff. I mean, if you finance something that's $500, you'll end up paying, let's say there's something that's $750. I don't know, a chair. And it was on sale for $500. And you've got 0% interest for a year, but for something happened and you couldn't get it paid off in that year, and now you've got interest on it, and because of the interest and maybe the late fees that accrue because unfortunately something happens, and guess what? Things happen in life. You end up paying $950 to get that chair paid off. Was that a good deal? No, it would have been better to save up the $500 to pay for it, or to even pay for it full price at that point. It's just, these are all things that are slippery slopes and we don't think about, but we get roped in. They aren't doing them for the benefit of you. This stuff is to entice you into their little spider's web so they can then, circle you up and eat you for lunch or dinner or whatever spiders do. Is there anything that you guys can think of where people try to be frugal and end up spending more money, or scenarios where you have tried to be frugal and end up spending a lot more money on something? I would love to hear your stories down below, so put them down for us to read. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you back for more videos.